May the peace of Christ be with you. This is a word for parents, and we're considering the gospel for the fifth Sunday of Easter, as well as considering the basic parenting question. How do we teach competence? We don't always know how we do it, but we just do. When our children were at their youngest, they slowly learned how to speak. They repeated our continuing saying mama and papa and came to know how to get our attention by calling out mom or padre. Soon enough after that, we were reminding them to use their words to describe their needs or their feelings, and we worked to emphasize please and thank you. I know, many of us are still working on please and thank you many years later. And looking back, there was that one word or phrase that our kids spoke out loud publicly, and we just knew where they learned that word. We emphasized practice, and we sat through many recitals as our young people progressed through hitting a single fingered note, and then they end up graduating to many clear chords and more beautiful music. We chased down many errant throws during a game of catch. We moved our young people through times tables to eventually knowing the tables of elements, and we probably learned or remembered a little bit of something ourselves in the process. How do we teach competence? We don't always know how, but we just do. And how do we teach competence in faith? Well, we don't always know how, but we just do. In this weekend's gospel, the gospel reading for the fifth Sunday of Easter, we are reminded that Jesus identifies himself as the way and the truth and the life, and that no one comes to the Father except through Jesus. Jesus says that if you know Jesus, you know me, you know the Father. Then one of his disciples, Philip, provides us with another example, another gospel example, that the disciples just didn't always get it. He asked Jesus to show the disciples the Father. How do we teach competence in faith? We don't always know how, but we just do. Jesus basically responds to Philip, I've been showing you the Father all along. And he had. Through his teaching, he asked the followers to think differently about the love of Father and the promise of eternal life. Through his miracles, he asked the disciples to view the world differently, that the poor and lame were no longer an embarrassment on society, but they were conduits for God's grace. The moments that challenge us are not burdens for us, but opportunities for hope is what Jesus taught us. And Jesus prayed. He prayed like his life depended upon it. He prayed to discern the pattern of his life and the will of the Father. The disciples could see the Father in the way that Jesus loved and called others to love. How do we teach competence in faith? We don't always know how, but we just do. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. We teach our young people competence in faith as they emulate our behavior. How do we follow the ways of Jesus? Do we live out the truths that Jesus taught us? Are we living our lives as disciples? If we are to present God the Father to our young people the way Jesus does, then we must find ways to present Jesus to them as well. Young people learn of faith by the ways we live our lives, by the worldview that we take, by the choices we make for service, and by the ways that we love. How do we teach competence in faith? We don't always know how, but we just do make our own life choices to follow and be an example of one who acknowledges Jesus as the way, as the truth, as the life. And looking forward, what one word or phrase will our kids speak out loud publicly, and we'll know exactly where they learned that word? Looking forward, are we open to possibly learning or remembering a little something more in the process of our young people growing in confidence in their faith? And here's our dad joke of the week. What did the man who sent his girlfriend a huge pile of snow ask her? Well, he asked her, of course, did you get my drift?